Well, here we are back in the engine bay again, doing stuff I'd already done. You may recall from one of my other videos, I can't remember which one it was now, that the main harness there was touching the back of the cylinder head, which that's not acceptable. So I had to move it, and as you can see now, it's up against the firewall. Of course, in order to get it there, I had to disconnect these clamps, disconnect these hoses, so that I could untuck it from where it was and get it on top of the heater pipes and come up there, as I should have done originally, but I didn't. So there you go, lesson learned. Of course, in order to get to one of the bolts back there to pull the harness back, I had to take my clutch pipe out again. Oh, I just love doing things twice, as you know. Still got the heater to reconnect now, and then I've got to figure out where I'm going to tuck those wires up and out of the way. Really don't want them interfering with the heater mechanism, and also definitely don't want them touching the exhaust. So that's another little job there. Now, coming, over here. Oh, and I had to take the dipstick out as well. Yes, I'm a dipstick. So here I have a package has arrived. I got two nice new rear discs. They will be cleaned up and put on the axle when I get the axle back, which of course came back last week, didn't it? Well, at least that's what they said, by the end of last week. We're now at the end of this week and I still haven't got it. What a surprise. Anyway, so I've got new polyurethane, oh, they are, they're not a bump stop, but they go on the end of the spring. I have new bushes for the spring as well. And looking at these, this is going to be a pain because they got a lip on them. So, and they're very stiff, so getting those into the vehicle, into the spring, is going to be fun. Got the new washer for the fuel bowl, and these special washers, Thackeray washers. Mr. Thackeray made these apparently. That's for the throttle linkage, and the same with these two washers. They're also for the throttle linkage, the pedal linkage. These washers, okay, so if you want some part numbers, these washers, what are they? C386. These Thackeray washers are BD27357-F. The fuel bowl seal is 7298. The polyurethane bushes for the rear spring, P_C8939U, and the little rubber bumpy things, C10843U. There, weren't you excited by that? So now I can put this little baby back together, and as I've mentioned before, I'm doing a belt and braces. I'm going to use the filter. I'm also going to use this screen. Shouldn't need it, but hey, I got it, I'm going to use it. Right, let's move on to something else. What's going to be next? Ooh, wow, something I got to think about now. Oh, I've got to connect that heater up, haven't I? Then I can put the battery back in. I'll double check in my head, which is empty, as to whether or not there is a reason not to put the battery back in. You will note that the tray is slightly crooked. That's because the brake pipe goes underneath the tray there, and it's kind of pushed it. But I'm not worried about it because I have put a clip there that holds the pipe in position, and the tray will actually rest on that pipe clip, not on the pipe itself. And the pipe clip is well, not rubber coated, it's got a rubber sleeve on it, so no damage will occur. Will I be checking it one day? Yes, I will. And if I discover that that is, causing a problem, then I will be replacing the root of that pipe, but I really don't think it's going to be an issue. Now that I can get my fuel bowl back in, I can then get the fuel lines in. Do I want to leave the carburetors off or on? I've still got the headlight dip switch to deal with. That was a little issue that's got to be dealt with. Don't know. I'm gonna have to give this some thought. I'm not going to try and answer the question now in my head, a head that is mine. Sorry, my little temperature switch connection got bent, and I tell you what, that's the biggest pain in the ass I've had, because I've had to lay across the top of the engine to get to all that on the back there. You know, I may be monkey arms, but even I had difficulty reaching back there. Yeah, and I've still got the heater connection to do. Yeah, and I'm gonna have to crawl in from the side to do that as well. Not from the side, from the front to do that as well. Why does this keep popping out? I put it in and it just decides it's going to pop out. I don't give it permission. Alright, let's move on to do the heater connection and then the fuel bowl. I'll put that together and I'll record it. Okay, here we are, time to put it together. These are just the two nuts and bolts that hold it to the wing. So let's get started. Let's swing that out of the way. Put on the first filter. Now this one, you want the metal down here, so I know there's not much force, but as the fuel comes through, then the mesh is pressed up against this. Then we get our nice little proper filter. Then we put our spring, and we slide over our seal, get that tucked in. Now the bowl, and this is a tricky bit. Can push this baby down and swing this over. Ha ha ha. This is never that easy, especially when you haven't wound it up, as you should have done, Gary. Alright, now I have. Now we wind this down, keeping an eye on it, because you want to make sure you get that nice and central. Okay, that's looking good. Let's give it a little tweak. Now remember, you are fighting against the spring here, so you do want to make sure that you get that good and tight. Okay, that in my book is it. And this is, just make sure this functions before we go bolting it back onto the car. Okay, that works. Tell you what, let's give it a test, shall we? Now in is, which side is it? This side here. So, no fuel should pass through. I can't blow through that. Let's undo it. Perfect. Alright, let's get this baby put back on the car. Okay, in anticipation of my rear axle returning sometime next week, I thought it was, as these parts have arrived, I'll get them on. Now here I'm going to do something which actually I'm going to use red Loctite. I figure these will probably never have to come off, and if they do, then you're going to have this baby out on the bench anyway. Okay, well, these are the polyurethane ones, and I also have these special washers that got teeth on them, so the odds of them coming out are pretty remote. Oops. Okay, that ain't going nowhere. Right, next one. There's a bit of red juice. Oops, nearly put it on the wrong way then. Duh. Okay, let's move this one. Hey. Okay, that's those two done. Next is these beasties. Gotta get them in this hole here. No Loctite needed. Let's see, how am I gonna achieve this? I'll tell you what, maybe, and that will go in afterwards. I wonder, with some WD-40, I might even be able to squeeze them in my vise. Let me give it a go. Okay, so let's try this. Now, I've done one already, and just want to show you guys what I did so that you know. Oh, hang on, there's a bit of paint in there I've got to clean out. Okay, having now cleaned out the hole, let's get some good old WD-40 going around. Move this up into position. Now, the idea, I'll try first of all, but this doesn't usually work, just winding it. So, what I did last time, and I'll do it this time, is make sure the bottom goes in. And then with the top still just sticking out a little bit, grab my worn out screwdriver so it's not so sharp and just push there and in it pops. Now in theory, winding, there she goes. Now of course you will hit an impasse, and that's easily dealt with. So you just wind it up as far as you think. Okay, then pull it back out, get your trusty friend, and bingo, it is in. Next, move up this bush, stick it in, give it a tap, done. One and done. Now they are ready. Once I've given them a quick wipe after that WD, they're ready to go in now. All I got to do is wait for my axle. So yeah, there you go. That's that done. Do you want this video now? Do you want me to push this out now? All right, I'll bring it out now. Oh, by the way, I just want to let you know my clock is still going in the Jaguar, or my Mark II, should I say. However, I've disconnected the battery, so it stopped, but it does keep going. Okay. Whew. See, 1,000,001 jobs I'm doing. I got my power washer here gave up. I took the carburetor apart. Well, okay, the filter's dirty. I know it's nothing to do with Mark II. But inside here, I'd lent it to a friend, and somehow he got water in there. Don't ask me how, I have no clue. But anyway, it's corroded the carburetor, so I've had to buy a new one. Shit happens. Alright, get out in the garage, go do some shit. Yeah.